We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Tesam Aleph Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 39a. Rav Zvid is continuing to explain what's considered a valid protest. If the person says, so-and-so stole this land from me, ulamachar, tavana le ladin, and tomorrow I'm going to take him to court, that's considered a valid kind of protest. Havimacha, that is considered to be a protest. And the Gemara continues, Amar lo seimrule. Let's say the person who's making the protest, he tells the people he's protesting to, he says, don't tell him, don't tell the machzik that I'm protesting. What would be the halacha? Is that a valid protest? Amar Rav Zvid says, Hakamar lo seimrule. He's saying, don't tell him, and therefore it's not a good protest. Rav Papa, Amar Rav Papa says, Lididei lo seimrule. He's just saying, don't tell him, don't tell the machzik, the person who's trying to take possession, but la'acharini imrulahu. But you could say to other people, and those people will tell him, Chavra, Chavra, Isla, your friend has a friend, and Chavra, the Chavra, Chavra, Isla, the friend of your friend has a friend. Eventually the protest, the word, will reach the machzik. And the Gemara continues, Amruleh, if they say to him, Lo Amrinaleh, we're not going to tell him. Amar Rav Zvid says, Haka Amru, they're saying, Haka Amruleh, Lo Amrinaleh, they're saying they're not going to tell him, meaning, if the person protests in front of two people and the two people say, they're not going to tell the machzik, so they're saying they're not going to tell the machzik, that's not a good protest, it's not going to reach him. Rav Papa, Amar Rav Papa says, Lididei Lo Amrinaleh, they're saying they're not going to say it to him, they're not going to directly tell the machzik, but La'achrini Amrilahu, but they are going to say it to others, Chavra, Chavra, Isla, your friend has a friend, v'chavra, the chavra, chavra islay, and the friend of your friend has a friend. Eventually the word will reach the machzik, and therefore this is considered to be a good protest. Amar Lu, if he says to them, lo sepuk l'chushusa, no words should leave your mouth about this, you shouldn't say anything about this. Amar Rav Zvid says, Hako Amar, the person who's protesting is saying, lo sepuk l'chushusa, don't say a word about it, and therefore, according to that, it should not be a good protest, because it's never going to reach him. The Gemara continues, Amruleh, if they say to him, meaning the two people that he protests in front of, if they say, Lo mafkinan shusa, we're not going to say a word about it. Amar Papa says, Haka Amrileh, Lo mafkinan shusa, they're saying they're not going to say a word about it, so it's obviously not going to be a good protest, it's never going to reach the machzik. But on this, Rav Huna Breder Rav Yoshua disagrees. Rav Huna Breder Rav Yoshua Amar, Rav Huna Breder Rav Yoshua says, Kol milsa de lo ramyo le de inish, anything that's not incumbent upon a person, it doesn't really affect them, so they're not really going to be able to keep it private, even if they say they will. Amar lav alav adaita, they're going to talk about it, they'll say it, even if they're not really thinking about it. So even if they say they're not going to say a word, we really do think the word will get out, and it is considered to be a good protest. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Amar Rava, Amar Rav Nachman. Rava says that Rav Nachman says, Macha shelo b'fanav have macha, protest not in front of him is considered to be a protest, meaning even if the protest is not made in front of the machzik, it's still considered to be a good protest. Eisvei Rava Rav Nachman. Rava asks Rav Nachman the following question from our Mishnah. Amar Rav Yehuda says, Lo amru shalosh shanim, the only reason they said that a chazak is 3 years, ela kedei sheyehei baspam, it's in order you have a case, let's say the original owner is in Spain, and he's far away from the property, v'yachzik shana, so the person will take possession of the property for a year, v'yelchu v'yodayu shana, then it'll take a year for them to let the owner know that somebody's trying to take possession of his property, v'yavu l'shana acheres, and then he'll come in the 3rd year, and he'll make his protest. That's why a chazaka is 3 years. And so the Gemara says, if you think that a protest not in front of him is considered to be a protest, what does he have to come for in protest? Let him stay where he is over there, and he can protest from there. In other words, from what Rabbi Yehuda is saying, it sounds like a macha shelo b'fanav is not a macha. That's why the person protesting needs to come to the machzik in order to protest. And the Gemara says it's not necessarily a proof. Hasam over there, Eitz Tova Kamashmalan. It could be that the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishnah, is just teaching good advice. The Nesi Vinishkal Aro Piri, that he should come and take back his land and take back his produce. It's a good idea for him to come back, but maybe in terms of lodging a protest, he doesn't actually have to come back. And the Gemara continues, me to come most of Rava Rav Nachman, from the fact that Rava is asking on Rav Nachman, so it sounds like Rava disagrees with Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman said the macha shelo b'fanav is a macha, so mechlal de lo svir le the macha shelo b'fanav have a macha. It sounds like Rava disagrees with Rav Nachman, and Rava holds that a macha shelo b'fanav, he does not hold it's a macha, he holds that it's a bad protest. But the Gemara says that contradicts Rava in a different place. V'amar Rava, but didn't Rava say macha shelo b'fanav have a macha, that a macha not in front of him is considered to be a macha? So which one is it? And the Gemara answers, Basra Daf me Rav Nachman, after Rava heard what Rav Nachman said, that macha shelo b'fanav is a macha, so Savras, and then he changed his mind, and he held like Rav Nachman, that in fact it is a good macha. And the Gemara continues, Ashkachinu Rabbi Yossi Reb Chanina letalmid of the Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yossi Reb Chanina found the students of Rabbi Yochanan. Amar Lahu, he said to them, Miyamar Rabbi Yochanan macha bekama. Did Rabbi Yochanan say, how many people do you have to lodge the protest in front of? Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan macha b'fnei shnayim. Rabbi Chia bar Abba says that Rabbi Yochanan says it has to be in front of two people. Rabbi Avo, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Avo says that Rabbi Yochanan says macha b'fnei shlosha, that the macha, the protest, has to be in front of three people. And the Gemara says, Lema b'derabba bar Rav Huna kamiflagi. Let us say that they're arguing about the statement of Rabba bar Rav Huna. The Yom Rabba bar Rav Huna, because Rabba bar Rav Huna said, Kol milsa the misa'amra ba'apetz lasa, anything that's said in front of three people. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Tes Amud Beis.